Their cleanup man behind the plate. The praying mantis Hunter Pence is in right field with Panic, Belt, Gorkis Hernandez in left, and Johnny Cueto, the pitcher, batting ninth.
R.A. Dickey, 42 years old, 6'3", 215, out of Nashville, is already making his 8th start at SunTrust Park. That's pretty amazing, and he's pitched real well here, 3-1, an ERA in the low 4s. That's not nearly what's happened to him on the road, which has been pretty rough, including his last start against the Nationals. Did not get out of the 6th inning, gave up 8 hits and 8 runs and 3 home runs. So that leads us to the Ford keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, make it 3 straight. That means he hasn't walked a batter in his last 2 starts. He's done a good job of cutting down on the walks, and early trouble has been an issue, including that start in Washington. His ERA in the first 3 innings is almost 6. So if he can get off to a good start and have that knuckleball trending downward, he'll be in good shape tonight.
And that early trouble, when opponents score first, the Braves are playing .333 baseball. They've won 13 and lost 26. And as you've said so many times, you can live with 1 or 2, but far too often it's been 4 or 5 in the first 2 innings for the Braves to try to dig out of.
Well, despite their record, the Giants have lost 6 in a row, 15 out of 19, and their road record 2-11 over the last 13 games. Well, guess what? Their offense hasn't been that bad lately. Now, granted, they played 4 games out in Coors Field and lost all of them, but they hit the ball real well. These guys all have good numbers coming in from Colorado.
So Denard Span's digging in. He's about set to go for the Giants. It'll be about a 50-minute rain delay unofficially, as Dickey is set to deliver his first pitch in the opener of this series. One and only trip to Atlanta by the Giants. So, you know, the Braves will do all they can to get these games in without any possibility of a doubleheader. Let's hope Mother Nature cooperates the rest of the way, and away we go at SunTrust. First pitch from Dickey to Span, and it's a strike. Ramon De Jesus is the home plate umpire. And he is an interesting story. We'll talk about that in a moment. First, the 0-1 pitch. Another strike. Span at 266, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He's 0 for 8 lifetime against R.A. Dickey. And that one's dumped down the left field line, and it kisses the chalk fair. Span around first on his way to second, and something we saw a lot of yesterday, base hits on 0-2 counts. And Denard Span has a leadoff double, and that's how the game gets started in Atlanta.
You know, it wasn't just last night either, Chip. I mean, it's been somewhat epidemic. Do a good job of getting ahead in the count and then make a mistake 0-2.
So the Giants threaten with a leadoff double by Denard Span. That brings Eduardo Nunez to the plate. Nunez hitting a cool 300. He's missed the last 3 games with a hamstring problem, but this is where he's really shined for the Giants, hitting almost 400 this year with runners in scoring position. And he whacks that one out of play to the right side. Strike 1.
We got him last year from the Twins as kind of a supplemental player. He's anything but that now for them.
That's down the right field line. That'll hop into the seats again. And here we go with another 0-2 count. Interesting, too, that Tyler Flowers is in harness with R.A. Dickey. Dickey was very, very pleased with the way that Tyler caught him a couple of starts ago.
Now, this is the 3rd straight game for him back there.
So we'll see how it goes tonight. No balls, 2 strikes, and it missed inside. And to your point, heck, why not? If you don't walk anybody, why change what's working? All he needs to do is change the result. And is hopefully R.A. can pick up his 5th win. That's corked up the middle. Dansby dives, kept it on the infield, fires to first, head first slide, and safe is Nunez. And the Giants have runners at first and third with nobody out, and Nunez very slow to get up On that head first slide into the bag at first. Remember, hamstring problems for him already coming into tonight's action.
Great stop by Dansby. This saves a run. Going to be very tough to throw out Nunez, except that this was probably the worst case scenario for the Giants in that he was having to leg out an infield hit after missing 3 games.
Dave Greshner is the San Francisco trainer, and he's going to make his way down the right field line to join Nunez, who's going to jog back to the bag as he tries to stretch out his leg.
Seems to be jogging okay. He's going to watch the replay though and wish he hadn't jumped in there head first. Didn't need to. Well, let's go. Yay or nay?
This is what happened to Nunez in Denver.
Like it happened right at the bag. And that's going to be a nay after 1 at bat. No, he's going to stay. Beg your pardon.
And Nunez giving Dansby some grief. Hey, why'd you take away my RBI? So he's good to go. Here's Brandon Crawford. This guy's a terrific player. .258 average, 6 homers, 32 knocked in. And just missed outside, ball 1. Crawford had just 2 hits against Atlanta in the 3-game set out in San Francisco. But has 6 hits in his last 12 at bats. So to your point, Joe, you're right. There are some Giants hitters that are swinging the bat pretty well right now.
They sure are.
So don't be fooled by the 6-game losing streak and their overall National League rankings. They've got some hot hitters right now, and they're already 2 for their first 2 tonight. Didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
After the leg problems, I don't think Tyler Flowers would be too concerned about Nunez running.
Span at third. Nunez a very short lead at first. Now the 2-1 pitch is popped up. Dansby drifts out into shallow left field. That won't be deep enough to move anybody up. And now Dickey's a ground ball away, perhaps, from getting out of a first inning mess as Crawford pops out for the first out of the inning. So here's Buster Posey. Leads the National League in hitting at .352. And the Giants got a scare out of Buster Posey a couple of days ago. He had to come out of the game with a sore ankle. Everything's good to go for Posey in game 1 tonight. 9 homers, 25 runs knocked in. That was the amazing thing about Posey's line when we saw them out in San Francisco. At the start of play May 28th, Buster Posey had hit 7 homers and had driven in a grand total of 11 runs. He's getting a few more RBI chances now, and he's hit 2 more homers. Pitch caught a corner, a strike.
Well, we showed that graphic earlier tonight. They've hit the fewest home runs of anybody in the National League, and that's for good reason in that spacious ballpark. Good seats.
That's upstairs for Posey. 1 ball, 1 strike. Posey's hit into 6 double plays. That ties him for the highest total on their club. Nunez has also hit into 6. Popped up and into the seats. 1 and 2 for Posey.
If there was a third Ford key, it would be long balls. Keeping the ball in the ballpark important for RA. He's given up 15 on the year, 9 to right-handed hitters.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Posey didn't get it. He's down swinging. First strikeout for Dickey, and 2 are out for Hunter Pence. That's a big out.
Boy, swung right through that one too. Isn't it interesting on the knuckleball though how start to start you obviously don't know which way it's going to break and how it gets affected by humidity or lack of it, wind or lack of it.
2 on 2 out for Hunter Pence. Didn't see Pence in San Francisco. Yeah, so if you're a pitcher and you're throwing a knuckleball and you really don't know where it's going, how in the world are you supposed to hit it and how are you supposed to catch it? That's the great mystery.
That catch part is especially true.
Hunter Pence at 251 for the year. He's been plagued by injury this season. Hamstring problems among his myriad issues. He's got a 5-game hitting streak working as well. Popped him up. And R.A. Dickey ought to be out of the inning. Dansby Swanson says he's got it, and he does. How about that work? 2 pop outs and a strikeout. And the Giants strand a pair in the top of the 1st inning. Rays have won their last 2 series against the Nationals and against the Miami Marlins, and the offense has risen to the challenge. The Braves have gone 4-2, Joe, over their last 6 games. They're scoring early, they're scoring in the middle, they're scoring late, and they're winning a lot, and that's been fun to watch.
It's all the difference in the world and gives a lot of our pitchers a lot of room to work themselves. Braves lineup tonight brought to you by Toyota. Pretty much the same with Camargo back in there again. He's earning more and more playing time at the 3rd base slot.
So how do the Braves attack Johnny Cueto, the man on the mound for San Francisco tonight?
Well, he beat them up in San Francisco, or over in San Francisco, and he pitched really well. 6 innings, only gave up 1 run and 1 walk, but his last 6 starts, including that, and that's the only win in those 6 starts, not good. And he's lost his last 3 straight decisions on the road.
So his first pitch of the game is rolled foul by Ender Inciarte, who starts play tonight with a .299 batting average.
You see a lot of looks from Cueto. Louis Tiant spin around, a quick pitch.
Right off his knuckles and a bouncing ball to first. Brandon Belt will make an easy play. And there's the first out. Giants have committed 37 errors this year. Their outfield has Gorkys Hernandez, Denard Span, and Hunter Pence in the outfield. Crawford and Panik slick fielders up the middle. Belt at first, Nunez at third. Remember, Brandon Belt also played left field against the Braves out in San Fran. And Buster Posey gets the start behind the plate. We might see Posey play a game or two at first base before the Giants leave town in this series. Here's Brandon Phillips. He's been the hitting hero for the Braves late. 2 consecutive game-ending hits for the Braves. Last Atlanta performer to do that was Ozzie Virgil back in 1988. Phillips has bumped his average up to .306 on the year. And this one's popped foul right side. Hunter Pence won't have a play. And it's 0-2. Brandon's our Zaxby's indescribably good player.
Great numbers, terrific numbers at home. Hitting .306 for the year. Has really enjoyed SunTrust Park. Here's the quick pitch. Cueto's 5'11", 225, 31 years old, out of the Dominican. He's in his 10th year in the big leagues.
Ground ball toward short. Crawford with a backhand, sets and fires. A beauty to first, 2 outs. Yeah, Johnny Cueto was originally a Cincinnati Red. He was a teammate of Brandon Phillips for a long time. Then went to Kansas City for Cody Reed, Brandon Finnegan, and John Lamb. That was at the trading deadline 2 years ago. And then the Giants signed him as a free agent before the 2016 season, a 6-year deal that takes him through 2021. And they've got a lot of players signed to those kind of long-term deals, including Crawford and Buster Posey. Here's Nick Markakis, and a strike to Nick.
Cueto's low 90s on his fastball and a lot of cutters, especially to left-handers, as Inciarte discovered. Good hack there. Slider and a changeup. And he used his changeup a lot in San Francisco. His last start on the 14th against Kansas City, though, a little bit like R.A. Dickey's last start. 5 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, and he gave up 3 homers.
Well, he's ahead of Markakis, 0-2. And popped out of play foul. Nick's been racking up multi-hit games like crazy. 12 RBIs over his last 12 games. He has 7 3-hit games or better this year. Only Miguel Cabrera and Adrian Gonzalez have more 3 or better hits games since his big league debut in 2006. And with all that good work at the plate, all of a sudden Nick Markakis might be seeing the finish line toward the 2,000 hit mark. He's 35 hits away.
Won't be long now.
Whoa, he got hit. Cueto just yanked that pitch into the left-hand batter's box, and Markakis down in a heap got hit with a 1-2 pitch.
Hope it wasn't in the same spot he got hit yesterday. Remember, he got hit right on top of the knee. Jim Lovell out to check on him. Well, that one got him on the side of the leg and the calf.
It's only the second man Cueto has hit this year. Markakis plunked for the 6th time, and 38 Braves have been hit by a pitched ball so far in the season's first half.
been a rash, man. A lot of them.
Well, we had some drama yesterday when Jose Urena hit 3 batters. Mike Foltynewicz delivered a message.
Yeah, but I thought Urena got off lucky.
So let's see if the Braves can cash in a 2-out mistake by Cueto. Matt Kemp, the batter. He has seen Cueto more than any other Atlanta hitter. He's 12 for 34 against him with 3 homers.
Great numbers. And still 9th in the league in batting average at .326.
One ball, 1 strike. There's not a bad seat in the house at SunTrust Park. Nice crowd gathers on a rainy night. And now the 2-1 is yanked foul. That almost got Ron Washington. Two balls, 2 strikes. Didn't get a corner. So the full count. Nick Markakis will be off to the races. If Kemp can reach, Matt Adams will follow. Cueto about to make his 17th first inning pitch.
Yeah, he's got about a strikeout per inning pitched exactly. 25 walks in 86 innings. That's not a whole lot.
Kemp reaches out and pokes one that Cueto spears, and that'll end the inning. A hit batsman with 2 outs, and that's all for Atlanta. No score after our first inning at SunTrust Park.
R.A. Dickey taking the mound for the Braves. Now, something he's told us in the past, the perfect conditions for a knuckleball. A little bit of humidity and the wind blowing in. He does have the humidity, but he also said a big focus for a knuckleballer is limiting those walks, because with the knuckleball comes home runs. And if you're able to limit those walks, you at least can limit the damage to solo shots. And he has had no walks in his last 2 starts, Chip and Joe, so I'm sure he will really hope to continue that into his start tonight.
Hey, Kelsey. How was that Gatorade bath?
Oh, it was great. I'm still drying off from it, I think. And then we come here and it's raining, so it's not meant to be.
It's a perfect storm.
Joe Panik's going to lead off the second inning against R.A. Dickey. Well, on the bright side, if you get rained on, at least it'll be warm. Unlike yesterday when you got doused with that cold. Did you get the Powerade or just the water yesterday?
They just got me with the water, luckily. I'm hoping that was intentional, because if they would have hit me with that Powerade, it could have been bad.
Well, we were all glad it was water. You kind of needed it.
Yeah. How cold?
It was a warm day.
Can you put into words how cold that cold water was?
Absolutely not. And the thing is I was not expecting it. Or normally with those interviews with a walk-off hit, I'm mentally prepared for it. I'm constantly looking out. But for some reason last night, I was just not even thinking of it.
It looked like Brandon was not going to let you get away. He was kind of making sure you stuck around to get doused.
Yeah, so when he put his arm around me, he was talking about it being Father's Day, so I thought he was getting like emotional about it being Father's Day, and I was wrong, because within half a second my life changed.
Did you see what? I don't know if you have a monitor down there, but he saw Matt Kemp come in with a cooler. He ducked behind you.
Yeah. He said it in the interview. He said, I saw the first one coming, but not the second.
Man.
Well, I got the brunt of it.
Well, maybe another one tonight.
Yeah.
I'll take it if it means a win.
Right. Small price. Look at this. I mean, this is perfectly executed by Matt Kemp. High fly ball by Brandon Belt toward the right center field gap. That's going to bounce off the Georgia power sign. Belt's on his way to second. The throw is going to be a little late. And Brandon Belt with a one-out double came off the bag. And Dansby Swanson applies the tag. We've seen Dansby do that a time or two. And Belt says, I want to see a challenge perhaps from the Giants.
Well, it was a very quick return to the infield by Inciarte. An accurate throw. It was after the fact. Top foot, front foot comes off. And his foot is not on the bag, and the second base umpire said he's off the bag, got him. Dansby was ready to argue it.
There's the right foot. See the instep sort of creep in and touch the bag. Dansby had the left leg covered with the tag.
Well, there's a lot of dirt against the bag, the back foot, back leg. Yeah. I think this is going to be about his right leg.
That's Brian O'Nora who made the call, and he made the out call, which benefits the Braves. There has to be enough evidence to overturn the umpire's decision at the second base bag.
See his right knee is on the base. It's pretty obvious his left foot was off, but I don't know if his right knee came off.
So New York's going to take a long, hard look at this one. The Giants are going to challenge the call. For the moment, Belt is standing at second base. He's been called out. And Belt saying my right knee was on the corner of the bag. There's no question his left foot slid off the top of the bag. But I think that little bend of Belt's right foot toward the back corner of the bag is what sold the umpire that he was off the base with the tag being applied. So Belt will either have his 13th double or he'll be the second out. Watch his right foot. Right there. That's what the umpire saw.
Yeah, it's obvious that his left foot was off, but Belt's thinking his right leg is on the base.
So the verdict is in, and he is out. My guess is not enough evidence to overturn the call. So the call stands. So my guess is that'll be, is that going to be a double and then a 6 unassisted?
I'm going to say 8-6.
It is single and an 8-6.
Brian O'Nora is the second base umpire, but he had rotated out on the play. So that call at third was actually by Quinn Walcott when the umpires made the rotation.
You're right, Joe. Thank you for the correction. So that call benefits R.A. Dickey. 2 quick outs, and here's Gorkys Hernandez. Hernandez at 217 and has knocked in 10 runs. Boy, you look at the Giants, in one area that they have not been able to fill for a long time is their left field spot. They have had really poor production offensively from that position on the field the last couple of years. It's really been a revolving door out there, and tonight it's Gorkys Hernandez's turn to play.
Your corner outfield spots are typically spots where you put some power guys. They're not usually burners. They're not stealing a lot of bases or high average guys. They're the power guys. And left field has been a horrible hole for them, as you said, really since Bonds retired. And in their ballpark, it's hard to recruit and sign free agents to come in there and play. If you want a big bopper, that's a big ballpark.
Just missed. Dickey was on his way to the dugout. He's asking for an appeal, and no swing.
No, he didn't go. Mostly body.
Poked out a play foul. We were talking to a big league scout a couple of days ago, and the subject of the Giants came up, and he made an excellent point about how this team offensively seems to be in between. They don't have a lot of speed. They don't have a whole lot of power, and that's the worst place you want to be as a National League club. 3-2 pitch. And his point was, if you don't have speed, you better have power. If you don't have power, you better have speed. And the Giants have just a little bit of both.
And they still have players on their team from their run of 3 world championships. But they're getting a little old, a little long in the tooth, too. Some of them aren't quite the players they used to be.
And there's R.A. Dickey's first walk in 3 starts. And he's really upset. He thought he had Hernandez struck out a couple of pitches earlier. But it allows the Giants to clear Johnny Cueto, who's coming up with 2 outs and a man aboard. Yeah, Hunter Pence, 34. Buster Posey's now 30. Crawford's 30. Span's 33. One strike to Cueto. Losing Madison Bumgarner, a crippling blow for them. One of the game's elite pitchers. They've gone out and given big dollars to guys like Jeff Samardzija. Cueto's gotten a big contract. He's going to be a Giant for the next several years. Samardzija's 2-9. Cueto's 5-6.
Made a trade for Matt Moore last year, and he's 2-7. He'll pitch tomorrow night against Julio Teheran.
And the Giants are also, for this series, down a man on their roster. Hunter Strickland finally had the verdict delivered on his appeal of his 6-game suspension for his part in the fight with Bryce Harper. He got all 6 games, and he's beginning to serve that suspension here tonight. Little chopper hit toward short. Dansby's got it, and that will retire the side. Brandon Belt popped off the bag at second, trying to reach on a double. Gorkys Hernandez walks and was stranded, and we still have no score. It looks like the umpiring crew has a little attitude.
that is Brian O'Nora. He's umpiring at second base and needed a little bug spray.
So Cueto back to work for San Francisco.
I don't know if I've ever seen it before.
I know, Remember the bug game between the Yankees and the Indians in the playoffs a couple of years ago when the I think they were the Canadian midges, I think was what those insects were called, came out from their annual hibernation just in time for a playoff game at Progressive Field in Cleveland. And Jabba Chamberlain was spraying bug spray like there was no tomorrow.
And that was in Cleveland,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So much earlier in the year, but during my career once in Cleveland, a similar happenstance. Well, maybe it's every night in Cleveland. But you would have to run in from, let's say, right field or center field, wherever I was playing, with your mouth definitely closed and the bill of your cap down to keep bugs from basically hitting your windshield.
Oh, man. That's rough duty. So Nora's ready to go. Cueto will fix his shoelaces. And then we'll have live action here with Matt Adams, Tyler Flowers, and Dansby Swanson coming up.
Man, he was running faster down the line than I thought.
Matt Adams with 10 homers, 32 knocked in, and a .297 average for Atlanta. As we showed you earlier, great news for the Braves today. Freddie Freeman's been cleared to play catch. He did that before the real heavy rains came here at SunTrust Park. Prognosis still 8 to 10 weeks for the Braves first baseman to come back from his fractured wrist. But as you see, the cast is off. He's doing some flexibility and strength exercises. We had Freddie on the air the other day. He said he's passing his grip tests. So with each passing day, we all look forward to the imminent return of Freddie Freeman. 2 balls and a strike. Base is empty for Adams. And he shoots one toward Belt, who gloves it and wins the race to the bag. There's the first out.
You saw the guy next to him, Sean Rodriguez, who, as we all know by now, is recovering from that shoulder surgery after the injury he suffered in that car accident yesterday. He scared me because, like any player in uniform and in the dugout, you want to go out and celebrate after the walk-off hit. And he was out there running around, kind of jumping around Brandon Phillips, and I was watching him like a hawk, fearful that somebody would bump into him or knock his left arm around.
Well, we have seen some great players get hurt in those celebrations. Kendrys Morales with the Angels a few years ago had his season wrecked when he blew out his knee. And we mentioned Nolan Arenado hit for the cycle in his last at bat to sink the Giants yesterday. He celebrated at home plate, and his teammates were pounding him at the plate. He cut open his eye.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, his uniform was all bloodied up. Not seriously, but, you know, why take a chance
on a guy who might be the best player in the game right now?
No balls and a strike for Tyler Flowers, hitting .333 for the year. To short. Crawford charges, got the good hop, and there's the second out.
Did you read where that cycle that Arenado accomplished yesterday, that matched the number of cycles at Coors Field for the number that have been hit at Fenway Park?
Really?
In the history of Fenway Park, 1912.
I'll be darned. I did not read that.
Coors Field, of course, 1995.
Dansby Swanson hits with 2 outs, adding .218, having an excellent month of June at the plate. And he looks down and away, ball 1. Well, the Rockies, I think you stated it perfectly the other day, sent a notice to the Giants that there's a changing of the guard in the National League West for this year at least. The Rockies beat them again and have a 1-game lead over Arizona. The Dodgers a game back. That's ostensibly a 3-team race. Colorado, Arizona, and LA out west. The Giants start play tonight 19.5 games out. 1 ball, 1 strike. And out of play, foul.
Question a lot of baseball people have about the Rockies is their young pitching staff. We've talked about how they've got all these rookies in their rotation, and come late July and August, how many innings are they going to be able to pitch beyond what they're used to in their minor league career? I know they're supposed to get Bettis and Gray back soon. A couple of guys who've been around a couple of years.
1-2 pitch is off the plate. 2-2 your count.
And the Rockies are doing a lot of this without Gonzalez doing a whole lot offensively.
Well, and they're winning on the road. I mean, that's always been the bugaboo for the Rockies. You go to Denver, you're going to really have trouble winning a series against them. But if you get the Rockies out of town, well, then you can feast a bit. That's not the case this year. The Rockies are 25-13 on the road. That's more road wins than any team in Major League Baseball. And this is a Rockies franchise that has had 1 winning road season in their history. And that was at 41-40.
Well, they're about to make it 2.
Good battle here for Dansby Swanson. Johan Camargo's on deck. Braves have 1 base runner. Nick Markakis was hit by a pitch. We are scoreless in the 2nd. Roughly a 50-minute rain delay before first pitch, and Dansby almost got hit. Full count.
Two outs. He may throw that cutter away from him, slider away from him.
Dansby fought it off. Is his ability to handle that pitch better, Joe, the reason he's had such better luck in June?
I think so. I think it's because he's looking middle away, and that's where the slider, if a pitcher's trying to get an out, that's where he goes, is throw the slider away, get the right-hand hitter to chase it. But Dansby's getting a better look at it.
Little pop into shallow right. Hunter Pence is there and makes the play, and Cueto works a 1-2-3 2nd inning. Top of the Giants orders coming up. Still no score in Atlanta. Two innings. Chip and Joe with you from SunTrust Park. We invite you to vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Atlanta Braves for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at Braves.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th, live on Fox from Miami, Florida. School is out and kids are everywhere at SunTrust Park. It's been great to see. A good time. Braves went over 1 million in attendance with the crowd here yesterday. And as I said, good number have shown up despite the rainy, thundery weather here about an hour and a half ago. Officially a 44-minute rain delay at the start of proceedings tonight. Denard Span doubled on an 0-2 pitch. His first time up, was left stranded at third base. And now Dickey has an even count to him.
Talked about Denard Span before. He and Cueto doing their best tonight to make sure this is a 5-hour game. Denard Span gets in and asks the umpire with his hand, hold on, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
So let me ask you this.
The ball moved right in on him.
Why doesn't a pitcher seeing that, knowing the time is not called, just go ahead and go in your windup and throw it?
Because he'll step out and the umpire will call it a no pitch. If you start into your windup, they'll stop you.
One ball, 2 strikes. Well, I'm with you. As far as the pace of play is concerned, there are rules on the books that would enforce this without any more need for pitch clocks or any of that other stuff. Now the 2-2 pitch is cut on and missed. We'll worry about Span a little later. Dickey has his 3rd strikeout and a good start to his 3rd inning.
Jay, that super slow motion camera is so good to show you the knuckleball and how it doesn't spin. It's still a marvel.
Nunez legged down an infield hit. He too reached with a 2-strike safety. It was an infield hit. Great play by Dansby Swanson to keep it on the infield. That saved a run and kept the Giants off the scoreboard. To this point, that's the biggest play in the game. No balls and a strike. A little pop. Dansby's going to drift out and catch that. So Nunez out as he tried to ladle that ball into shallow left. And 2 outs for Brandon Crawford.
I like that. Ladled it. It's a good one. New one and a good one.
This guy is some kind of player. 4th round pick in 2008. The Giants liked him so much they've locked him up through the 2021 season. 2-time Gold Glover. Drove in 84 runs, played in every game but 7 for the Giants last year. From Mountain View, California, grew up a Giants fan, now starring for them. Didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Only 2 errors made this year. 55 games.
He hit that before it hit Tyler Flowers' glove. I mean, that was as late a swing as you're going to see.
Yeah, RA is getting a lot of movement on the knuckleball. Typically when it's up, if he throws it up letter high, it stays letter high. But when it starts lower, it moves more.
Strike 3. He might have quick pitched him.
Well, he got caught looking for the knuckleball and it wasn't.
A fastball strikes out Crawford. Dickey has 4. He has a perfect 3rd. And he's coming up 2nd.
It was a knuckleball, just hard.
Braves look for their first hit. Johan Camargo, R.A. Dickey, and Ender Inciarte are coming up against Giants right-hander Johnny Cueto. Braves owe these guys a little payback. San Francisco took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta in late May. The Braves won the first game out in San Fran 2-0. Jaime Garcia had a great game. Braves lost 6-3 and then 7-1 before moving down to Anaheim. First pitch, it eludes Belt at first base, so roped by Camargo. And he's aboard to start inning number 3.
About time for everybody to get on the Camargo wagon. Switch hitter, slider, stayed back, got his hands through, and ate up Brandon Belt. Should be a base hit. I'm assuming it was.
It was.
Good.
So there goes the no-hitter for Cueto. Let's see if Dickey can lay down a sacrifice. The pitch was called a ball, and on the appeal at first, Dickey did offer and is down a strike.
Tried to pull it back, but I think he might have been a little late.
He swings this time and lines to Panic, who recovers to make the play. That was a surprise party.
That was a good try, too. Almost caught Panic breaking too soon. A little slash at it. Panic was moving, but when he saw him pull the bat back, to Panic's credit, he froze.
Ender's 0 for 1. He bounced out to first in the first for the Braves. Ender with 87 hits, good for third in the National League at the start of tonight's action.
Singled each of his last 2 times up yesterday, kind of snap out of a dry spell he was in. He'd gone 0 for 12. If you're an opposing team against the Braves and there's a gapper and somebody already on base, you better assume there's going to be a play at the plate because Ronnie Washington's waving everybody. Span cut it off. I think the only thing that allowed him to was the wet ground. Crawford has a great arm, took the relay and made a good throw, but Posey was trying to get the tag on too soon and didn't catch it cleanly. And it looked like Camargo may have missed the plate on his way by the first time and then reached back and slapped it.
So the Braves strike first, an RBI double by Ender Inciarte. And Johan just wanted to make sure. So he scores from first on a double by Ender, who has 30 RBIs now. And out of play, foul by Brandon Phillips, who rolled out to short his first time up. So 88 hits now for the Braves center fielder. Brandon will try to chase him around for his 24th ribby. Little pop behind first. Long run Pence. Belt gives chase. It's in foul ground. And it's 0-2. That's chopped foul past third. And we'll do it again. No balls, 2 strikes.
See if he goes away. Came in on Dansby for an out, but before that he had gotten ahead of Swanson and moved him back off the plate. Came back with a slider.
Sharply hit, but on a line to Nunez at third.
Ooh, that was a changeup, and he ripped it.
So Cueto dodges a bullet. That's the second out. He'll face Nick Markakis. Not surprising, Brandon Phillips has a hard hit ball in this ballpark. As you mentioned, Joe, he's really enjoyed hitting here at SunTrust Park. 39 hits for Brandon Phillips, second highest total on the team in his home park, and a .325 average. Let's see if Nick can exact some revenge. He's been an excellent two-out hitter since joining the Braves.
You know, this place is still so new to me that I did a double take today when I was writing down the home record for the Braves and realizing this was the 34th home game already. Having played away from this ballpark so much early in the season, seems like we haven't been here at all.
Line drive into center field. Span on the run is going to get there. He'll make a chest high catch, and that retires the side. Johan Camargo led off the third inning with a single. R.A. Dickey tried to advance him, lined out, and then Ender Inciarte splits the gap in right center, and Camargo beats the wrap at the plate as Posey drops the ball, and Atlanta scores first. It's 1-0 after 3. Nothing. Time for our live look in from our Xfinity cam.
Beautiful sight. Boy, that grass is really green, isn't it? A lot of rain fell here before the game started tonight. Won't need to water tonight.
Buster Posey struck out his first time up. Giants had a great chance first and third. Nobody out, and Dickey got out of it. Now Buster fouls one at the plate for an even count.
From Leesburg, Georgia.
Got out the inside corner, called a strike. It's 1-2. What a career for Buster Posey already. Three-time World Series champion, 2012 MVP, four-time All-Star, won the batting title in 2012.
And giving a rookie umpire an earful.
Pop fly foul out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ramon De Jesus behind the plate. Tough duty for even a veteran umpire to call the knuckleball.
And I mentioned he's an interesting story. There have been 118 players from the Dominican Republic playing a major league game this year. De Jesus is the first major league umpire from the Dominican Republic.
Good for him.
Little pop into shallow right. That'll be a can of corn for Nick Markakis. Posey's retired for the first out. So here's the praying mantis, Hunter Pence. He popped out to end the first inning. A couple years ago, it was really amazing seeing this Giants team play. If there was a bell cow for San Francisco, it was Hunter Pence. When he played, they won. When he didn't, they didn't. And sadly for Pence, injuries have really caused him problems the last couple of years. He's going to pop out on the first pitch to Matt Adams. 2 quick outs. Pence played 162 games in 2013 and 14 for the Giants. The last 2 seasons, 15 and 16, he played a grand total of 158 games.
That's a shame. He's such a crowd favorite in San Francisco too.
They got him from the Phillies for Nate Schierholtz, Tommy Joseph, and Seth Rosen, who, yes, is a pitcher, on July 31st, 2012. Here's Panic. And he takes a strike. It's tipped foul at the plate, and RA is ahead 0-2.
Panic's one of those guys that got off to a slow start for them offensively, and he had some injury troubles, but he's coming around. He's 8 for his last 20, including his at bat tonight.
Oh, 2 pitch. This is what Panic has historically done. Last year, he was the toughest guy to strike out in the big leagues. 1 strikeout every 11.2 at bats.
That's darn good.
Real challenge for him here to hit the dancing knuckleball of R.A. Dickey. 1-2 pitch. And he puts it in play to center. Ender has plenty of room. And R.A. is dealing. He's through 4 innings with a 1-0 lead. Matt Kemp, Matt Adams, and Tyler Flowers will try to add to the Atlanta advantage next. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Matt Kemp will get things started for the Braves. Matt bounced back to the pitcher to end the Atlanta first. Matt missed a couple of games on the homestand with some hamstring tightness. Good to see him back and ready to go. Braves are in the middle of their longest homestand of the year. They took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. We have 4 with the Giants. And then the Milwaukee Brewers come to town over the weekend. And stroked foul by Kemp into the upper deck. Steve, rank 1. Matt had 5 hits in the series in San Francisco, and still as a former Dodger a huge crowd favorite at AT&T Park. And we heard all of it.
Yeah.
Fans sitting right below us from our great vantage point in the press box. One fan in particular just screamed, "We still don't like you," even though you're no longer a Dodger. And a swing and a miss. Kemp's retired. That's understandable. Matt's had great success in his career against the San Francisco Giants, but so far he's 0 for 2 tonight.
That sequence there by Cueto, very interesting, because he seemed to just get quicker and quicker on his windup to Matt.
That's really an amazing talent for a pitcher to be able to have. We talk so much about mechanics and being on time with the pitcher's delivery, all the balance and tipping points that they have to deal with. To be able to alter your delivery 2 or 3 separate times in one sequence and still get strikes, that is a lot of talent. Swing and a drive. No doubter. That's headed for the chop house. Matt Adams with a homer. A vapor trail on its way to right field. A no-doubter for Matt.
Like a changeup, and again he left it up enough to allow one of the Braves hitters to put the barrel on it. Heads up. '17th home run allowed by Cueto, the 10th by a left-hander.
And 2 more than he allowed all last year in over 219 innings. So the Braves add on a run. It's 2-0 in the 4th inning. Matt Adams hits his 11th home run. And there's some happy, lovely ladies in right with a souvenir thanks to Matt Adams. Tyler Flowers down 2 quick strikes. He grounded out to short his first time out. We've talked about the Braves first base production. We showed you the graphic earlier. How good Freddie Freeman and Matt Adams have been. And we showed you Freddie playing catch as he begins the process of coming back. The Braves have a really good problem when Freddie Freeman comes back from his fractured wrist. 2 guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark and play really good first base.
You like those kind of problems. Another attempt at a different type of quick pitch. You mentioned the talent it takes to be able to do that. This is his 273rd career start. I think he's figured some things out by now, and maybe figured out that I better try to improvise a little bit. My fastball's not what it used to be, and anything to throw the hitter's timing off.
And Flowers didn't get that. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Cueto, his first 2 of the game.
Still mad about the homer.
There's Dansby Swanson.
Those ladies aren't. Souvenir time. There you go. Practice your knuckleball.
That's exactly what it looked like she was doing.
Yeah, I thought she was.
I'm telling you, somebody's got to figure out a way to put some brass tomahawks on the bricks of the chop house when guys like Adams hit him out there. they do in Baltimore out on Utah Street. The home run goes over the scoreboard at Oriole Park. Better have your hands up when Matt Adams is coming to the plate. And straightaway right. 1 ball, no strikes. Ground ball to Crawford at short. He'll scoop and he'll deliver to first in time. And that's the inning. Matt Adams with a 1-out rocket shot to right extends the Atlanta lead. His 11th homer makes it 2-0 behind R.A. Dickey, who's dealing through 4. Audi a 2-0 Atlanta lead thanks to a Matt Adams home run. And he is part of our SunTrust confidence play tonight.
Combo first baseman, first in homers, slugging percentage, and OPS. Second in those other important categories. Great work.
Little pop by Brandon Belt. Shallow left. Kemp's coming on. He makes a diving catch. And he slides about 30 feet on the wet turf and left.
Nice catch. Long way to go. Made the catch, then hit the slip and slide.
You know the old saying, sometimes hitters are said to be swinging a wet sporting news. Well, look at R.A. Dickey's line in this game. He's got 6 pop outs so far tonight. There have not been to this point many hard hit balls at all by the Giants.
Tonight it seems to be moving away from the barrel and into the handle.
A strike to Gorkis Hernandez, who walked in the second. That walk noteworthy, the first walk for R.A. Dickey in his last 3 Atlanta starts. Nothing came of it though as Cueto grounded out in the Giants' second. And this is something that R.A. was very, very honest about for this nice run of control. He was really upset with the number of bases on balls he was allowing. And as he said to Kelsey on Braves Live, he's going to give up his share of long balls. Solos don't hurt you. It's the 2- and 3-run shots that do. And a lot of those big innings came as a result of 2 strike hits, 2 out walks, and then a big blow.
Well, remember in the first inning in Washington, he gave up a triple to Rayburn on a 0-2 or 1-2 pitch. And then an out later, he gave up back-to-back homers. It was 3-0 before you could snap your fingers.
5 strikeouts. Hernandez retired. Here's Mr. Cueto. He swings the first pitch and pops one into shallow center. Phillips goes out, and he's going to make the play. How about that? 3 outs on 6 pitches. The Giants go quickly in the 5th, and Atlanta maintains a 2-run lead.
The 5th inning, right at the start of Community Heroes Week. The Atlanta Braves do such an incredible job with finding these heroes in the community who truly make a difference. Today they surprised their first beautiful community hero at Pont City Market on the Beltline. I am here with Jen Heidinger. Now you are part of the Giving Kitchen. So can you take me through this day and how surprised you were when you see the Braves, the Tomahawk team, Fox showing up for you? To you.
I'm completely honored to be here. Really, it was I was shocked beyond belief, shaking like a leaf. I cried. I was super surprised, and I'm a very hard person to surprise. I'm a huge planner, so to get me in that moment just felt amazing. I'm honored to be here.
A lot going on today. You had them surprise you earlier. You were honored on the field. You got to bring some friends to the Braves game. Take me through what happened today.
Well, I went to Pond City Market expecting to be just a TGK advocate like I usually am, you know, for the Giving Kitchen and speaking the story and sharing the good works that we do every day for our community. And we were there at Helpful Hot Dog, and that's exactly what I thought I was going to be doing, was passing out some hot dogs. And then all of a sudden, a marching band came up, and Freddie Freeman and his crew, and Fox, and hundreds of people were there with cameras on me, and again, shaking like a leaf. And I was just, I was so surprised, and I just, again, to be a voice for the bigger part of our community, sharing what the Giving Kitchen is doing to help industry workers is really just, is why I'm here, to pay it forward.
Well, Jen, you deserve everything that you've gotten today, and we appreciate everything that you've done, and we're thrilled that the Braves were able to honor you in that way. Now, Chip, I know that you were able to be there today, so how much fun was it for you to be a part of that?
Well, there were free hot dogs, Kelsey. I couldn't pass it up. I mean, there was no question I was going to show up at the Pont City Market. But as I said on the pregame show, Jen Heidinger is really a remarkable story, as is the Giving Kitchen. First, the 1-2 pitch. And Camargo swung it at a ball in the dirt. Posey's going to throw him out at first. The story behind the story, I think, is what makes what Jen and her staff doing in the 4th Ward area of Atlanta so remarkable. Jen and her husband, Brian, were restaurateurs in this area. And Ryan and she had begun to open up their restaurant, the Staple House restaurant. And Ryan was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and passed away in 2014. And after her husband died, Jen, with her indomitable spirit, just kept the business going and reached out and decided that there are a lot of other people who are in need who work in the restaurant industry. Think about it. These folks are working minimum wage jobs. They're surviving on tips, and then something happens in their family and they can't make ends meet. And so she founded the Giving Kitchen, which is operated through the profits from the Staple House restaurant, which is one of the best restaurants in the country, according to Zagat. And the profits from the Staple House restaurant go to support the Giving Kitchen, and they have given out over $1.3 million in grants for restaurant workers in need, not just in the Atlanta area, but statewide.
It's incredible.
And here's this lovely sprite of a woman, all 5'2", who's turned out to be a real giant in our community. So can't think of a nicer person to be honored for our first community hero in 2017. This is one of my favorite weeks of the year. And you know, the rest of our Fox Sports crew is excited. I know you've got an event tomorrow. And there'll be more events later on during the week. And we're so pleased and honored that the Braves have asked us to participate as well. So, Jen, for you and the folks at the Giving Kitchen and your friend Brad Kaplan, who nominated you, tonight is your night.
That's absolutely right.
So R.A. Dickey is the hitter for Atlanta. R.A. lined out, tried a slug bunt back in the 3rd inning. But all's well that ended well. Ender Inciarte brought home Camargo with the game's first run.
Cueto's working to the bottom part of the order. I understand that, but he seems to be working with a little more purpose this inning after giving up that homer. He was talking to himself all the way back to the dugout at the end of the 4th inning.
Yeah, I would think he's one of those guys you don't really want to make mad.
Yeah.
Because the madder he gets, the better he pitches. He's trying to win their 10th game in June. Lead tonight. And that one's out of play. There was a great note online today about.
First of all, that pitch, he gave the sign to Buster. He pulled his thumb up and went like, let's go upstairs. And Buster gave him a high target.
Well, R.A. obviously has very good eyesight because he fought that off. I mean,
yeah.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Look at that. Play a little game of Twister. Dickey couldn't check his swing. He twisted twice.
Yeah, he did.
He double T-outed him. And R.A.'s not happy about that.
No, he's not happy because remember he made an appeal earlier on a check swing by Hernandez and didn't get the call. 1, 2. I didn't think he went either. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, Braves are playing good ball right now, and one of the mantras from the Braves front office this year is we want to see steady improvement from this team from year to year. You know what the Braves record for 68 games was 1 year ago?
Do not.
You might want to cover your ears. It was 22-46. The Braves are 31-37 this year, a 9-game improvement from last year to this year at the same spot in the schedule. Under any measure, that's tremendous improvement.
People kept asking me during the offseason, what do you think the Braves will do this year? How do you think they will be? Will they be better? And I said, yes, this is going to be a much better ball club than the 2016 version. Now, will it be that much better than the last 2 months of 2016 remain to be seen because they were so good.
That's hit toward third. Nice play. Nunez, who can't get it out of his glove, and he tumbles over the baseball, and Ender's got another hit. His 27th multi-hit game. This one comes with 2 outs.
He'll take that. I'm not sure how he was going to make a throw from that position.
And to me, it seems that the biggest improvement from this point last year is the offense. Obviously, they're scoring runs. You score runs, you're going to be more entertaining. You have a chance to win. First 2 months, Braves couldn't get out of their own way.
That one right there. That's instant offense.
Double the number of home runs from year to year. I mean, it was so often last year in the first couple months, at least until Matt Kemp got here. It seemed like if the Braves got 3 runs, that was a huge offensive day. Then when Matt arrived on August 31st, the Braves bats took off. They averaged about 5 runs a game over the final couple of months. And it's real simple. If you score, you look good. I mean, you're an entertaining, exciting team. And the way the Braves are winning with all these comeback and last at bat wins makes you really excited to get to the ballpark the very next day. 1 ball, no strikes for Brandon Phillips, who's 0 for 2.
Well, they had already traded for Matt Kemp, obviously, before the end of the season. So going into this season, when they made the deal for Brandon Phillips, that's another quality veteran. They signed Kurt Suzuki, quality veteran backup catcher. They brought in 2 veteran pitchers. Granted, Cologne has not had the kind of first 2.5 months that they were hoping for. R.A. Dickey, 4-5, could easily have a winning record, might even his record tonight with a win. So they got some age, they got some experience, and they got proven players, and that's why I knew that they, or felt like they were going to be a much better ball club than last year, and they're proving it so far.
2 balls and a strike.
And I think they're going to get better.
I was going to say, I don't think there's a team in the National League that's going to want to play this Braves club the way that they're swinging the bats. And to your point about the veteran addition of Brandon Phillips, let's not forget Dansby Swanson started the year hitting second for this team. Maybe wasn't ready for that. That allowed the Braves to slot Phillips second, put Dansby in the 8-hole where he's really flourished. So all of those pieces have come together real nicely. All that's missing is a real long winning streak to get the Braves back to 500. They're 6 under 500 at the start of action tonight.
And that's why, as we talked earlier, what Matt Adams is doing in the absence of Freddie Freeman is so vital to the success of this ball club long term. And I say long term, the 10 weeks that's expected for Freddie to be out.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And Posey and Cueto can't get on the same page. And I think that's an excellent point. I mean, the Braves made an unbelievable deal with the Cardinals. I'm still shocked that St. Louis couldn't find a place for Matt Adams to play. Whatever the reason, their loss, Braves gain. Think about where the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are without Mike Trout, who is having almost an identical statistical season to that of Freddie Freeman. The Angels aren't having nearly the success, I think, that the Atlanta Braves are in his absence. And they're 10-10. Braves are just a game under 500, 15-16. So statistically, I guess, yeah, you could say so. But the Angels are without Trout, hanging in. Braves are, I think, doing better than hanging in without Freddie Freeman.
The thing about Freddie's absence was the fact that we showed you a graphic a minute ago. 37 games, was that right, or 27 for Freddie? He had played 37.
Yeah.
He hit 14 homers.
Right.
He's still leading the team in home runs by 3 over Kemp and now Adams.
Another meeting. Full count for Brandon Phillips, by the way. So there's a lot of stuff to like about this Atlanta team. Phillips a part of it, and the runner goes and fouled back to the screen. And Ciarte's back to first. And you mentioned Bartolo Colon. If you missed the news, Bartolo is going to start the 3rd game of this series. He will come off the disabled list and pitch Wednesday against Jeff Samardzija. As Brian Snitker has said, the Braves for the moment will go with a 6-man rotation. For how long remains to be seen. And that means Sean Newcomb's going to stay in rotation and make his 3rd big league start here on Thursday.
Which brings me to a sign of the times. Granted, this is a long time ago, but I happen to be looking at a lineup card that I was involved in 1983, because I saved it because it was the first game I ever started at first base. The Royals had 5 relievers. It was a 10-man staff.
Can you imagine that today? No chance. Out of play, foul. And I think you put it perfectly. It's neither better nor worse. It just is what it is. It's the sign of the times.
I think it's definitely the sign of how protective Major League Baseball is of pitchers, wanting to make sure nobody gets overextended in the rotation, and that almost in a way that relievers are replaceable. We can bring somebody up or use another guy if somebody gets hurt or tired or used too much.
Phillips rolls toward Nunez. He's got it, and his long toss across is in plenty of time, and that'll retire the side. Case in point, the Braves and Giants have 8-man relief corps. 2-0. R.A. Dickey is dealing a 3-hit shutout to the San Francisco Giants. Star of stage and screen, Benedict Cumberbatch is here. He's in Atlanta filming one of the Avengers movie series, Infinity War. So
is that right?
Mr. Cumberbatch to town.
He was tremendous in August Osage County. Tremendous. Meryl Streep, Julia Roberts, Benedict Cumberbatch. For those of you that saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
So we hope he enjoys his first visit to SunTrust Park. Hopefully he'll come back and join us. As Denard Span leads off against R.A. Dickey and takes a strike. Things look bleak for R.A. Dickey in the first inning. He had runners first and third, nobody out, with Crawford, Posey, and Pence coming up. 2 pop outs and a strikeout, and the Giants were out of luck, and they have not threatened since. Caught the corner. Mr. DeJesus is calling strikes behind the plate. Little number back to R.A. Dickey. He's got it. And a fastball to first takes care of Span.
I wonder if he's ever thrown a knuckleball over there.
I was thinking the same thing. Maybe if he had a 10-0 lead.
Yeah.
But that takes care of Span, who's 1 for 3. I've got R.A. retiring 11 straight. Here's Nunez. He's got an infield hit and a pop out. Strike one. Another chance for Dickey. Sets his feet and flips to first. Yeah, there's very little hard contact by the Giants.
Watch this one move. We were talking earlier about the ball moving in on the hands and balls off the fist. Now this one's going to move away from him. And it's right off the end of the bat and just pounds it straight in the ground.
I ask this question respectfully, and I don't mean it with any disrespect at all to a major league hitter trying to hit a pitch that is a trick pitch. How much of it's luck that you make solid contact?
I'm not going to call it luck ever, because these guys are so good.
You understand my question?
I do.
Right.
I do, and I get it. Having faced Charlie Huff, I get it. But there's a certain amount of I mentioned perfect storm earlier. Some guys knuckleballs will move the same way on any given night. His isn't. His is going both directions and going down. And I think that's been part of the issue for him at times, is when it goes laterally, it's going the same direction every time. Not tonight.
So one pitch really turns out to be 3 or 4.
Yes.
For R.A. Dickey, who has another easy inning, 3 outs on 8 pitches, and he leads by 2 in the 6th. After 5.5 innings, let's see how we've gotten to this point. It's our Infinity Game Summary.
Some clutch hitting by Ender Inciarte and Johan Camargo. They teamed up to drive in the first run of the game in the 3rd inning. A single and then a double by Inciarte, and then Matt Adams jumped on a changeup that Cueto left up in the 4th for his 11th homer of the year. And R.A. Dickey's been outstanding after pitching out of that jam in the 1st inning. 13 in a row he's set down.
He is rolling. Let's get a couple more. Nick Markakis, Matt Kemp, Matt Adams are coming up. And with all due respect to the Giants offense, funny what getting out of Coors Field can do to your bats.
That's true.
Downstairs for the Braves right fielder. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wild game in Miami tonight. Nationals and the Marlins, 7-7. That game is in the 8th inning. I think Justin Bour hit a grand slam.
Well, Washington hit a couple of homers early too that gave them a huge lead early on. Nice comeback by the Fish.
Fly ball, pretty well hit. Long run, and what a catch up against the wall by Gorkys Hernandez. Yeah, you better tip your cap. That was a heck of a play. He raced to the warning track and climbed the wall to make the catch.
He's not going to give them the power in that spot in the outfield and left field, but he is going to give them good defense. He's a center fielder by trade, and he can run them down.
Pretty play, one away. Here's Kemp.
It's like the fourth different look he's given Kemp in the last 4 pitches that Matt has seen.
Quick pitch, fly ball right. Hunter Pence is there. 2 outs. Hitting is timing, pitching is destroying timing, and that's exactly what Cueto's trying to do tonight with all those different looks. 2 quick outs. And here's Adams, who's 1 for 2 with a line drive home run.
I've got a problem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I bought this pencil that was guaranteed to last 70 games.
Did you keep the receipt?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to make it through number 69.
Uh-oh. That's been a winning pencil too.
Yeah, it has. That's why I keep kind of nursing it along.
What's the problem over there?
I think it's out of lead.
Oh.
No, I got some backup. I'm just trying to see if I can make it to the end.
It's like many a major league manager. You have to go down there, you know.
Yes, exactly right.
And get a new implement. As that would miss low and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Chan's already donated one to me just in case. A closer pencil.
Boy, those pencils, they just don't last as long as they used to. Back in the day, sign of the times, broadcaster could get through a single season with 2 pencils. Now it's 2 a game. Two balls, 2 strikes. Adams with 11 homers now. Pops this one up. And that's back behind home plate with the fans from Hanford, California. Have made the trek to see the Giants play here for the first time. Make the catch.
Wow. Didn't realize the Giants traveled so well.
Yeah, there are a lot of orange-clad fans outside the ballpark for the game tonight. They're not very happy right now. The Braves are 3-hitting them. Pitch. Swing and a rocket toward Pence in right. He's going to get there, and he's going to make the catch to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. We're off to the 7th. own all-star voting campaign poster featuring Braves players who are on the National League ballot. Don't forget to cast your vote at Braves.com/vote today. If you vote for Matt Kemp and Ender Inciarte and Freddie Freeman and all the Braves listed. Joe and I promise not to robocall you until next year.
No more sugar for that section, by the way. Cotton candy is cut off.
Here's Buster Posey. R.A. Dickey set down 13 straight Giants. Posey's 0 for 2 and takes ball 1.
One homer allowed in those 3 starts. Good work. Look out.
I think that clipped him on the way by. It did. So that snaps R.A. Dickey's impressive run of hitters retired. He'll go to the stretch for the first time since the 2nd inning.
That's his 7th hit batsman. No surprise the way the ball moves around. Just brushed him. In fact, Tyler able to actually catch the ball.
So here's Hunter Pence. He's popped out twice. Didn't get it. Strike 1.
Well, he has been taking some huge swings on that first pitch. Hunter went NFL on us about 2 years ago. First player I remember wearing his pant legs above his knee, pulling his socks up over his knees. I remember telling him last year in San Francisco, I said, hey, I like your look. And he goes, really, or are you just saying that?
Well, did you really like it, or were you just saying
No, I
that?
did.
You do?
Actually, he's got him a little lower.
Well, if you're going to be called the praying mantis, you have to look the part.
Mm-hmm. There he is. Love that picture.
In case you were not sure, Hunter Pence was on the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes with a man at first. And that's whacked back toward us and into the seats. This guy's been a terrific player.
Mm-hmm.
Just plays with such great joy and reckless abandon. Broke in with the Astros. Perennial 20 home run a year guy. Had some big years with the Phillies and the Giants. And just trying to get back in form as he swings and misses and is struck out. Dickey's retired 14 of 15. He's got 6 punch outs in the game. And for Hunter Pence, you know, you get hurt, you can't help that. Fractured forearm, sprained wrist, tendonitis, hamstring problems. It's been one thing after another for Hunter the last 3 years.
And they really need him on the field. He's such a inspiration and influence on all their players.
Here's Joe Panik. And he's down a strike. It's 0-1. Word on the farm tonight, Chris Medlin was starting at Gwinnett. Last report I heard, Chris had gone 5 innings, 4 hits, had struck out 9.
Wow.
For the G Braves. Trying to get his final line when he comes out of the game.
And the good thing is that those outings seem to get better and better. I know he had a rough one a couple of starts ago, maybe his last start, but everything seems to be on the uptick.
Season. Belt was once drafted by the Braves in the 11th round in 2007. He didn't sign, of course. The Giants got him in the 5th round in 2009.
Think about things like that and how we talk about draft picks and who went where and how you could have had this guy or that guy. What if they had signed him? What if they'd signed Anthony Rendon, who was drafted by the Braves before he went to Rice University? How different would this organization look if they drafted Belt and signed him? Maybe they wouldn't have drafted Freddie Freeman.
Right.
So they wouldn't, we've got a first baseman. We don't need another one.
We talked about it the other day when we played the Marlins. What if the Braves had drafted Giancarlo Stanton instead of John Gilmore? Sandwiched him in between Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman. Or maybe a Brandon Belt.
But I'm just talking about the guys they drafted and didn't sign.
Sure. I mean, every organization's got a bunch of those guys. But it paid off. Belt was taking a couple of rounds earlier. Probably signed a bigger bonus. And now a big contract with Bruce Bochy and the Giants. Ground ball. Phillips dives. Beautiful play. Throw to first in time.
Wow.
Brandon Phillips doing it not just with his bat, but how about the glove? Excellent play to rob Brandon Belt. And he breaks the Giants' hearts in the 7th. Stretch time at SunTrust Park. Rainy night. Atlanta leads at 2-zip. How old we've gotten. It's 90s night coming up on June 24th here at SunTrust Park. Come celebrate everything about the 90s. Get your tickets today at braves.com/90s night.
Boy, think about the 90s for the Braves, though.
That part of it's really good.
Woo!
I'm trying to think what the fashions were like in the 1990s. You know, the 60s, you had the bell-bottom pants, you had the wild suits, the leisure suits, all that kind of stuff.
Still got them. Still waiting for a comeback.
Well, here's your chance, buddy. break them out. Party like it's 1995. 27 years ago, it was 1990. That doesn't seem possible. As Tyler Flowers goes to work in the Atlanta 7th. And a tapper back to Cueto. Easy play. 1 out.
I got you. MC Hammer's going to have a concert here later this year. Was he 80s or 90s? I was thinking about those big
the parachute pants.
Parachute pants.
Yeah.
That may have been 80s.
Yeah.
We'll have to put Chan Ho on that.
Brian Woodrum says it was both. Probably 89 to 91.
Okay.
Don't worry, that was not in my ensemble. I don't think they had a parachute quite big enough for yours truly.
It really was a parachute.
Yeah, right. Very good chance. As Dansby Swanson hits. Braves up 2-zip. And a strike. That must have been some kind of fun covering the Braves during that incredible run, which will probably never be repeated.
No.
And think about the Atlanta Braves. They had 3 Hall of Famers in their starting rotation. They have a lead pipe cinch Hall of Famer playing third base. You had a Hall of Fame manager. You have a Hall of Fame general manager, John Schuerholz, who's going in this year. Unbelievable. And a farm system that was perennially the envy of Major League Baseball. As that one's going to dump into shallow right center for Dansby. He's got a blue pit, his first of the night and the 5th of the game for the Braves. I mean, to me, that's the most amazing thing about the Braves run was, number one, that it happened. Number two, that year after year, all those extra games that the Braves played in postseason play seemingly had no effect on the next season. And then third, every year the Braves are drafting down near the bottom of the draft, and year after year they kept drafting and developing guys that came to the big leagues and had success.
That's true. Well, I've heard comments from the Cubs side about how they got off to a slow start because of how deep they played into the postseason, winning the World Championship, and they didn't have enough rest in the offseason. Really? Try it 14 years in a row.
No balls and a strike for Camargo. I mean, is that to you the most amazing thing? Think about all the innings pitched that Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox made, and those three guys almost never, if ever, missed a turn in rotation until John got hurt.
That's true. I don't know. You know, they were on a good throwing program with Leo. They had good medical help, you know, from Dave Pursley, Jeff Porter, Jim Lovell, and all the team doctors.
Another one back to the mound. Cueto with a high throw. Look at the play by Crawford, and safe at first. That very easily could have been 2 on for Atlanta, but Crawford with a great athletic play, stretched out, skidded his toe across the bag, and got the force at second.
And a tip of the cap to Camargo for hustling too, to try to avoid the double play. Boy, nice play by the Gold Glover there. You're right.
That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Giants may be taking a look at this one on their replay monitor. If the call stands, then at the very least Dickey will bat here.
I think he beat it.
Yep. So no challenge. And Dickey's going to be taken down for Atlanta. Looks like Rio Ruiz has grabbed a bat. So Atlanta will take a shot with Rio here. And Dickey will leave with 7 innings of shutout ball tonight. He was excellent. And a shake of the hand with his battery mate Tyler Flowers for a job well done. Just 3 hits for Dickey. Only 1 walk. So for RA in his last 3 starts, 1 base on balls. 86 pitches, Chan tells us, 64 of them for strikes. What a ratio for a man throwing a knuckleball.
I'll say, what a night.
Pop fly down the left field line, and that's headed for the seats. Strike 1. One more note on Dickey's line tonight. He did hit a batter. That was Buster Posey, who was hit with a glancing blow. That is his only blemish tonight. 0-1 the count to Rio. And now 0-2. Cueto pushing toward 100 pitches. He's about to make his 98th. He hasn't pitched all that badly himself.
No, he's got a 5-hitter working. This Vizcaíno will be next.
This will in all likelihood be Cueto's last inning. The pitcher spot for the Giants is coming up second in the 8th. R.A. retired 16 of the last 17 Giants he faced in this game. Ground ball toward Panic. He'll go to a knee. And he'll flip to first in time. We head to the 8th inning. The game in the hands of the Atlanta bullpen. The Braves lead 2-0 behind R.A. Dickey's masterpiece. Now let's send it out to Jerome Jurinovich with tonight's showstopper.
Okay, thank you, Chip. Well, the showstopper could be R.A. Dickey, could be Mother Nature, which set us back a little bit at the beginning of the game, but it's our man. Look at this guy right here, Brian Jordan. Big night for the Brian Jordan Foundation, which does so much in the greater Atlanta community for young people, including tonight, BJ. Congratulations on another successful event. You were awarded scholarships in the amount of $110,000.
Well, thank you. I mean, we were able to give out 22 scholarships this year, and I want to thank my board and all my supporters. You know, go to BrianJordanFoundation.com. Our big fundraiser is in October at Chateau Along, October 22nd, 23rd, where we raise as much money as possible to continue to go up in scholarships. This is my favorite time of the year, to see the smiles on some of these families' faces, you know, that their kid is getting some assistance financially to go to college, because education is #1 in my life. My mom was an educator, and I'm just fortunate to have the great support of my board and all the supporters out here.
Including this year, 77 scholarships. You're pushing almost $400,000. That is amazing. When you started this years ago, what was your goal at that point?
You know what? It started in 1998. We gave out 1 scholarship, and I just wanted to continue to increase the scholarship amount and putting kids in college. And, you know, we furthered our foundation with health and fitness and literacy programs. I write children's books. I love it, and I support elementary schools and encourage all kids to read, because education is in the books, Jerome.
You know, Chip, I love to give him grief during the Braves live show, but I truly love the man. I respect him. He is a treasure in our community. Back up to you guys.
Yes, he is. Brian did a great job with his foundation. Great job with our community service event at the Ponce City Market. And yeah, we're really appreciative of you, BJ. Great job.
Yeah, no grief from up here either. It was it's a wonderful thing that you do, Brian. We're proud of you and proud of the foundation and what it means to so many kids in this metro area. It's wonderful.
So to the 8th we go in Atlanta. Arodys Vizcaino is on for his 31st appearance. He'll have Kelby Tomlinson coming on to pinch hit. If I remember right, this kid made his debut against the Braves. I have to check that.
Arodys was in 2 games against Miami. Got a day off yesterday, but the first 2 games of the series, 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs or walks, 3 strikeouts.
Line over Adams' glove and into right field. So Tomlinson pokes a single, and that brings up another Giant pinch hitter. Austin Slater grabs a bat as Bruce Bochy starts to empty his bench, trying to get this thing knotted up at 2.
Fastball, middle of the plate, just slashed it to right field. So the tying run at the plate already.
Yeah, Kelby Tomlinson picked up his first major league hit against the Braves on August 3rd, 2015. It was not his major league debut. On August 27th, he hit his first big league home run as a grand slam against James Russell, another former Brave. And now he's got a pinch hit here in the 8th inning. And Austin Slater, in his 14th game, digs in.
Pretty good numbers since he got called up. Goodness.
He's an 8th round pick by the Giants 3 years ago out of Jacksonville, Florida. Swing and a miss. Slater's out of Stanford, was an all Pac-12 first team outfielder.
He's hitting .322 at Sacramento with 4 homers.
No balls, 2 strikes, and he's down swinging. There's the first out of the inning. So back to the top, Denard Span, who's 1 for 3. He doubled on an 0-2 pitch in the first inning, struck out in the 3rd, and tapped back to the mound in the 6th. Cueto gives up 2 runs in his 7 innings for the Giants. Right now he's on the short end of the decision. He threw 99 pitches in his 7 frames. But no offensive support for Johnny Cueto to this point tonight. This has been the story for San Francisco much of this season. 13th in the National League in runs scored per game. They have a negative 82 run differential so far. And as Joe mentioned, dead last in the league in homers with 57. And maybe the most telling stat, they've played 40 games where they've scored 3 runs or less. They've played 27 games where they've scored 2 runs or less in the first half. That's tough to cover.
Yes, it is.
No balls and a strike for Span. Tomlinson leads. And a line drive off the netting above the Giants dugout. 0-2.
And that's why, if their hitting is beginning to come around like it did at Coors Field, and their road ERA as a team is 5.53, it's not a good combination if you're not hitting and you got that high an ERA. They've also given up now 53 home runs on the road, and that's tied for the most allowed. Actually, they've taken the lead there for the most home runs allowed.
0-2 for Span. And headed for the seats out of play. Jack Osich is up in the Giants pen. He's going to come on and pitch the 8th. Again, they are a man down in their bullpen. Hunter Strickland has begun to serve his 6-game suspension tonight. That was the Bryce Harper fight on May 29th out at AT&T Park. Swing and a miss. And Span is down on a wicked slider. Back-to-back strikeouts.
He took a little off that after all those foul balls. Nice pitch by Vizcaino. Perfect spot to take a little off too.
Nunez gave the Giants a scare in the first inning. He legged down an infield hit, slid headfirst into the bag at first, was safe, and came up a little tender with a hamstring problem that's cost him the last 3 games. And he swings the first pitch and pops it up. Another chance for Dansby Swanson, and that is that. Vizcaino gives up a leadoff hit. Nothing else for the Giants. The Braves look for some 8th inning insurance, up by 2. In game 1 of 4 between Atlanta and the visiting San Francisco Giants. R.A. Dickey's in line to pick up the victory tonight. Time for our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature. Ender Inciarte will look to get things started.
How about that? Accounting for 22 runs in the last 16 games. Scored 11, drove in 11. Huge on base percentage. And another multi-hit game tonight. And here in the 8th, he'll face Josh Osich. Good ERA, 3.06.
Should this guy be wearing number 0?
Probably.
I mean, Adam Ottavino wears 0. And Slater stays in the game. I mean, Osich grew up in Boise, Idaho.
His initials are J.O. Throws hard. 95, 97. Curveball.
Out of Oregon State University.
It's all adding up.
I'm just saying. This guy's had all kinds of injury problems as a young player. He's still very young, 28. Ulnar nerve surgery in 2009. Tommy John surgery in 2010. Tore the subscapular muscle in his shoulder in 2011. Shoulder impingement in 2012. Radial nerve injury 2013. Another impingement in 2014. Going into the 2015 season, he had 1 full season as a pitcher since his freshman year in college without getting hurt.
He'll take whatever number they give him.
Right. A strike. And it gotten so bad for Osich that he was sent to Double-A in spring training in 2015. He and his wife sat down at the kitchen table and he was saying, can I keep doing this? And he's decided to give baseball one more shot. As the closer at the Flying Squirrels of Richmond. A 1.59 ERA, saved 19 games, went to Triple-A, made 2 appearances, and got to the big leagues.
Good for him.
Three balls, 2 strikes. And Ender walks. That's a good start for Atlanta. Not what Bruce Bochy wanted to see. A lefty-lefty matchup and a base on balls. Thank you much. Here's Phillips. Time for a pencil update in the bottom of the 8th inning. How are we hanging over there?
We're barely making it. Had a little chat with it, but it thinks it can make it another inning.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Brandon Phillips, the batter, runner at first, nobody out. And the professor, Pete Van Wieren, never, ever had to worry about that problem.
Nope.
Pete was one of the few guys who would keep his major league scorecard in blue ink. And the man never, ever messed up. Rocketed toward third. That's off the glove of Nunez. Everybody had to freeze. And the throw to second is handled by Panic, who caught it with a snow cone. And a rope by Brandon Phillips. Hit the ball hard twice to third base tonight. He's got nothing to show for it. Force out at second. Takes care of Inciarte.
That almost blew his glove up. Panic fortunate to hang on to that throw. Now Pete had his just basic Bic blue pen, and you'd see the ink get down pretty low and you'd get a new one. The only thing that troubled Pete was those late lineup changes.
Oh yeah. Well, he had the neatest scorecard too. I mean,
oh, nobody in the world could read it except him.
Yeah, well, I'm a very sloppy broadcaster. My space looks like a Mississippi River Delta flood. And Pete, when he broadcast the game, he had all of his books piled up on the right side, the press notes tucked neatly underneath, his scorecard. If it was 175 degrees, he had an even hotter cup of coffee right in front of him. As Nick Markakis pops one down the left side near the stands and into them. And he always broadcasts the game, no matter how hot the weather, in his navy blue sport coat.
Absolutely. He could write smaller. I used to crack up because sometimes he'd look at his scorebook and have to raise his glasses up to see what he wrote. It was so small.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you and I do a game, more so me than you. I look over here, I've got like 9 pounds of eraser nubs on the countertop. Pete never had to scratch anything out ever. Back to the mound and over the top of it. Panic's going to have one play. And he takes care of Markakis, who advances Phillips to second. And there's the second out.
Well, yesterday was Father's Day. And for Pete and your dad, I'm remiss in not having discussed that yesterday about how we missed them. And I know you and the Van Wieren boys feel the same way about missing their dad.
Well, and Ernie too.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not here if Ernie hadn't started all this, as Matt Kemp's going to be walked intentionally. And that'll bring up Adams with another lefty-lefty matchup. Good night for Matt tonight. A line drive home run in the 4th inning. That seemed to get Johnny Cueto fired up, but by then it was too little too late, because the Giants bats couldn't do anything with R.A. Dickey, who set down 16 of the last 17 hitters in order with 7 scoreless innings. Pete cracked me up in San Diego one year. The driest sense of humor of anybody you've ever worked with. He had the perfect line at the perfect time almost all the time. And at the ballpark, which shall not have its name uttered on our air, Pete was doing the play-by-play, and I went and got him a cup of coffee, and I got a cup of water, sat it down on the counter. First the pitch. And you know, your papers are everywhere, your microphone cord gets tangled around stuff, so I, of course, in my haste, just pulled the microphone cord, and about 9,000 gallons of ice water started dripping all over the scorebook. And Pete, without missing a beat, said, "Ball 2 to Giles." And he said, "Boy, those cups sure hold a lot of water, don't they?" And of course, we lost it. Base hit to right field. Let's see if the Braves can get a run. Here comes Phillips around. The throw's going to go to third. Nunez drops another one. Adams with an RBI single extends the lead. He can hit lefties too, and he's getting a chance to prove that as a Brave, and that's a big Atlanta run. RBI single, second on the throw.
First of all, the base hit, very similar location as to the changeup that he hit out of the ballpark. This one a fastball, he pulls through the hole, and then base running, good base running by everybody. Good turn by Brandon Phillips at third base. Good hustle by Matt Kemp to go to third, and on that throw that allowed Adams to take second. Good work by everybody.
So Osich does not have a good outing. He works 2/3 of an inning. He gives up a run, a couple of walks, and a base hit. More importantly for Atlanta, it's 3-0. Park, and make sure to stay after the game for the best fireworks display in the Southeast, presented by Gas South. Visit Braves.com/promotions and get your tickets today. The Houston Astros will be the opposition as Mr. Osich ponders a disappointing 8th inning. 2 walks, a single, and a 3rd Atlanta run. Now Derek Law is on to face Tyler Flowers.
Again, a mid-90s guy with a curveball and a slider.
He's got a little shoulder turn action too.
Slider shown here. Osich's inning, 2/3 of an inning, kind of indicative of their bullpen work too. Their starter ERA bad, so's their bullpen. Nothing compared to Washington, but it's not good. And Melanson's already blown as many saves this year with the Giants as he had all last year with the Pirates and Washington.
And they had some crazy number last year for San Francisco in blown saves. Which was why they went out and signed Mr. Melanson.
Yeah, and it reared its ugly head on opening day this year against Arizona. Which made everybody thought, uh-oh, here we go again.
They blew 30 saves last year.
Goodness.
And at the time we faced the Giants on May 26th, they had blown 24 leads in a game, and it ended up losing 13 of those 24 games. So the Giants have a lot of work to do trying to get back to their world championship caliber clubs out in San Francisco. Full count for Flowers. Another hit would be nice. Braves are up 3. The Giants have just 4 hits. And Flowers ready. Here it comes. It's ball 4. Posey came out of the chute and was headed for the Giants dugout. He thought that was strike 3, and so did Law.
High breaking ball. Didn't get the high strike call. It's not exactly where you want to throw a breaking ball, though. Umpire didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. Dancy with a chance to blow it open.
He has a hit last time up. A 1-for-3 night for the Braves shortstop. Ground ball and foul. Strike 1. Marlins win. They walk off at home over Washington 8-7. This is a critical stretch of games for Miami.
There's that Washington pin for you. Just talking about them.
Marlins have now won 15 of their last 23 games. So they gain a game on the Nationals in the standings. No balls and a strike. Here's the East up to the moment. Still a very comfortable lead for Washington.
Tanner Roark got lit up again.
The Mets are out in Los Angeles, trailing 4-0 in the 2nd inning to Clayton Kershaw. What a nightmarish stretch of games for New York. They had Strasburg, they had Scherzer, and they have Kershaw in the span of 4 games. Two balls and a strike. Law about to make his 10th pitch. And that's whistled on a play right side. 2-2. Crowd tonight 24,723. This is the Braves' 34th home date, as Joe said. They've drawn 1,029,000 so far. Hope you'll join us here tomorrow night for Julio Teheran and Matt Moore. Braves live at 7. First pitch 7:35. And Dansby takes low. Full count, no place to put him. Runners go. Line drive, right field, base hit. That's going to score a couple of runs. Dansby Swanson breaks it open with a 2-out 8th inning single. Three runs charged Osich.
I know the walk loaded the bases and they had a base open when they put Tyler on, or when they walked him, but that was that aggressive base running by Matt Kemp and Matt Adams that put runners at second and third, that kind of set all this up and put Dansby in a position to drive in 2.
Well, this again is one of the keys. We've talked about this Braves club and how exciting they are. The production they give you in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. In a 2-run game with the Giants' heart of the order coming up in the 9th, the Braves in the 8th pick up 3 more runs against the Giants bullpen and have a 5-run advantage now. Line pass, panic. Another run is in. Camargo with an RBI. And Dansby goes first to third. It's 6-0. And boy, the ball is jumping off Johan Camargo's bat.
I mean, to tell you, that's 8 RBIs for him in 44 at bats as a part-time player. Barreling up another one left-handed this time. There's a lot to like.
So Danny Santana will pinch hit. Braves are sent 9 to the plate in the 8th inning. Six runs on 8 Atlanta hits.
Kind of changes the strategy for Brian Snitker too. Be able to rest Jim Johnson for a night if he wants.
And there's nobody up in the Giants pen. Luke Jackson is up for Atlanta. He's going to come on and pitch the 9th. Osich and Law have had a real rough time.
They can't afford to use another guy.
No. Again, Hunter Strickland suspended. They're already down a man in their bullpen. And that is the face of a very unhappy manager. The Giants, with just 4 hits, have wasted a very effective start from Johnny Cueto tonight. Chopper foul at first. And the count to Santana moves to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Posey smothered that. Full count.
Most in the National League from the 7th inning on. That's a great quality.
Camargo's running, and the pitch is belted deep right field. That ball is way gone.
first one up into the upper chop house. That went the H&F burger joint. Slider. Buster Posey. Can I have a new baseball, please? That's a first. Right in the onions.
So now that Mr. Santana has christened that spot in the ballpark, he did something that's, well, now medium rare. A home run into the H&F burger joint. And a huge 7-run eighth for Atlanta. 9-0 is your score. That's the first pinch hit homer for the Braves this year. Santana's first career pinch hit homer. And the Braves have blown it wide open. 9-0. That's a long way.
Boy, it sure is. 325 to the base of the wall. That's a long one. Here's where the stupidity of Hunter Strickland is costing his team and his teammates. The thing that he did with Bryce Harper getting suspended. They can't replace him on the roster. So in this case, Law's just got to wear it, no matter how long it takes.
And he and the rest of the Giants bullpen has to wear it because he's out for 6 games. Another shot up the middle by Ender Inciarte. He reaches base for the 2nd time in the inning. He's got 3 hits. And now Dave Righetti's on his way out to try to give Law some moral support here as he's gotten pummeled.
He's got to console him if nothing else and say, look, we appreciate you doing this. We just need you to finish it up. We wouldn't have left you out here except we're shorthanded. We need somebody to kind of carry the load here so we don't burn up everybody before tomorrow night.
What are your thoughts? I ask you this question because I like what has happened in this regard. If a player is dumb enough to do what Strickland did, you really want to stop the problem of doing what he did to Bryce Harper. Make your team play shorthanded. I mean, he's going to have to answer if he hasn't already to them. And for the next 6 days, this Giants team, which has struggled so mightily, has to somehow make do with an ever shorter bullpen.
Well, if you remember, Buster Posey was in no hurry to go out there to try to stop Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
If you remember.
You want him? Go ahead.
Yeah, you go get him. And whatever the reasons were for Buster on that, and I'm not sure that I ever read or heard, but I know the teammates are really suffering now for what Strickland did.
Line drive into the right field corner for Phillips. Lane Adams pinch running is around second. He's on his way to third. Braves going to stop him. And Brandon Phillips with a 2-base hit. That's 5 consecutive Atlanta hits after Flowers walked against Mr. Law. And Nick Markakis is going to be the batter. And Bruce Bochy doesn't want to, but he's going to have to go get Mr. Law, who couldn't retire a single Atlanta hitter. It's all Braves, 9-0 on 11 hits. Choices for the Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber feature. Matt Adams has homered. Danny Santana has homered. Part of a 9-0 Atlanta uprising tonight.
Yeah, this is the one I'd have to vote for. Boy, you want to talk about launch angle? There's one for you. First one to go that far in that upper level.
Not a cheapie by any stretch.
Oh.
So the Braves have a 7-run inning working. Nick Markakis will face Brian Morris, who will try to get the final out for San Francisco. Law and Osich got 2 outs, gave up 6 hits, and so far 7 runs.
Talked earlier tonight about Ron Washington sending everybody. Well, he held Lane Adams there for a good reason. There's no reason, there are the numbers for Morris, no reason at 9-0 to continue to wave and also risk injury for a player at the plate. Professional courtesy.
Line foul.
I believe that was caught.
I think it was too. One ball, one strike. Bouncing ball up the middle. Panic retreats. He throws to first. Bell picks it up with a nice scoop. And that retires the side. What an inning for Atlanta. A 7-run 8th blows it open. Game 1 looks to be in good shape for the Braves. 9-0 is your score. The big blow, Danny Santana's mammoth home run into the upper reaches of the chop house and right. Especially in that 8th inning. Let's not forget, Joe, how good R.A. Dickey was for the Braves this evening. His knuckleball was as good as it's been at any time this year.
Absolutely. I think it was by far his best outing. Even when they were able to make contact, it was weak contact, moving in on their hands or off to the end of the bat. Struck out 6 tonight, hit a batter, and only gave up 3 hits in his 7 innings of shutout work. Great night for R.A. and looking to even his record at 5-5.
So Luke Jackson will try to mop this one up for the Braves. He's got Crawford, Posey, and Pence coming up for the Giants in the 9th. Danny Santana is in left. Lane Adams is in right. And Jackson's on the hill for the 15th time. Correct that. Adams is in center. Santana's in left. It's Markakis still in the game in right field, as Brandon Crawford goes to work for the Giants. He's 0 for 3. Fly ball left, should be handled by Santana, who retreats, and Crawford is out number 1. Here's Buster Posey. Posey was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. That'll extend his streak of reaching base to 37 straight games. He has struck out and popped out in his other 2 trips. Line toward left. Santana is there, and he makes a waist-high catch. Looks to me like the Giants want to get this one over with, and I can't say that I blame him.
Nope.
So Hunter Pence is the final hope. This will be the 28th time this year the Giants have scored 2 runs or fewer. That's amazing. And it'll be the 8th time, if all goes well for Jackson, that San Francisco has been shut out.
Well, Luke's come in throwing strikes, as he should.
One ball, 1 strike. And now Atlanta's a strike away. The 2-2 pitch is popped up. That's rather appropriate. R.A. Dickey got a ton of outs that way, and the Braves shut out San Francisco 9-0 is your final score. Adams and Santana hit long home runs. The Braves punished the Giants bullpen for 7 runs in the 8th inning, and R.A. Dickey was masterful over 7. 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts as he earned his 5th win.
Great continuation of the homestand. Hoping to make it 3 straight series. That's a good way to start it.
Braves beat the Giants 9-0. Lots of happy things to talk about with you on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Joe and I will join Jerome and BJ next from SunTrust Park here in Atlanta.